Michigan Magazine is kept on the road by our many Michigan friends. Thunder Bay Resort, a destination for all seasons with special events and packages. Thunder Bay Resort in Hillman. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. This week in Michigan Magazine, we celebrate the Michigan alpaca farmer and breeders with a visit to a nationally renowned alpaca farm in Frankfort, Michigan. Here at Crystal Lake Alpaca Farm, we celebrate National Alpaca Day with the witnessing of an actual birth of a cria, a baby alpaca. We weren't expecting that, but what an amazing experience. Stay tuned because we're going to share that with you. Then we visit with the sole survivor of the SS Daniel J. Morrell that went down on a stormy night on Lake Superior back in 1966. Dennis Hale tells us of the terror of that night and how he survived while the remaining crew members did not. That's an amazing story. It's all coming up on this week's Michigan Magazine. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare. What began as a crazy idea among 9 police officers to purchase the historic Clare City Bakery quickly became an international phenomenon, carrying on a Michigan tradition with delicious donuts, pies, pastries, breads, original coffee, and more. Plus a full menu at the new adjacent Traffic Stop Diner. Downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Luzerne Express Campground is the premier campground with everything to make your northern adventure complete. Modern and rustic campsites, equestrian campers welcome, a huge market with bakery and deli, nearby RV, hiking, and horse trails, along with a complete canoe, raft, and kayak rental. Visit us online, then call for more information and reserve your spot today. Rose City Drug, just south of the Rose City city limits at 2640 North M33, featuring a state-of-the-art, completely automated and extremely accurate computer-filled prescription process.
Here at Rose City Drug, we're a family-owned and operated for over 20 years. We offer fast and friendly service, and we always take the extra step to make sure your needs are fulfilled.
Alpaca breeding and farming is thriving in Michigan. It's amazing. Its growth not only in Michigan, but throughout the country. The monetary result is through the beautiful, lush wool the docile animals produces. It's warmer than sheep's wool, not as scratchy, and has no lanolin, making it hypoallergenic. Alpaca is naturally water repellent and difficult to ignite. Those are only a few things we've learned visiting a few of the many farms throughout Michigan. Another is how gentle the animal is around children and humans in general, and how a devoted farmer and breeder can reap wonderful rewards through a bit of hard work and dedication. We were awestruck at the apparent love affair that's being developed by not only breeders, but the general public, as we visited the Alpaca Farm and Gift Boutique near Frankfort during their annual National Alpaca Day Open House held each September. We were delighted in the unscripted highlight of that day we attended when one of those precious animals went into labor and delivered right before our cameras. We would like to share with you that special moment, edited of course, but very special just the same.
Oh my God.
It was pretty quiet.
Hi, sweetheart. It's okay. We're not gonna hurt your baby. Yeah, we're not gonna hurt your baby. Oh my God.
Is that why you were barking?
Sure.
Another one, Banner.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
another one.
barking. Good.
Oh my God, I get another biscuit now, don't I?
And the kitty
Little boy.
cat, too. Oh, boy. Kitty cat coming too.
Oh, funny noise.
Dixie, look at. Mom is looking for him.
Michigan Magazine is being brought to you in part by your northern experience is never complete without a stop at the historic Ma Dieters of Luzerne. Enjoy the ambiance inside or outside on the huge patio area. Order from the complete menu with entrees served hot, fresh, and good. Come experience Ma Dieters in the heart of God's country, Luzerne, Michigan. The Michigan-made rebounding mailbox pole. Never again worry about the winter snowplow taking out your mailbox. With this ingenious rebounding pole, your mailbox takes a hit and keeps coming back year after year. Call now or visit their website, toughmailboxes.com. Hale Hardware, your do-it center in Hale, Michigan. Much more than a regular hardware store, providing everything you need for whatever your project is, along with a knowledgeable sales staff to get her done. Serving northern Michigan since 1946. Hale Hardware, south of M65 at Ainsley in Hale. Storms on the Great Lakes are legendary and dangerous, claiming ships and the lives of their crews for decades. It's a risk that cannot be avoided if you sail these freshwater giants. November seems to be an especially notorious month for sudden gales glaring their icy teeth of destruction. Most notable being the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald on Lake Superior, claiming all 29 crew members. Rare indeed can the word survivor be uttered when crews are thrown into the frigid waters of the Great Lakes. Honored indeed we felt when the opportunity presented itself to meet not only with the survivor, but the sole survivor of the freighter Daniel J. Morrell that sank back in 1966 during the November winds of Lake Huron. His name is Dennis Hale, watchman for the Morrell. Like the Edmund Fitzgerald, 29 crew members went down with the ship. Unlike the Fitzgerald, one man survived. We met Dennis at the 4th Annual Great Lakes Lighthouse Festival in Alpena, where we sat and talked of that fateful night that would forever change his life.
How big of a freighter was the Morrell?
It was about 604 foot, 606 foot. It depends on what you read.
Right.
They give you all kinds of different, anywhere from 612 to 603.
But you were the sole survivor of that.
Yeah.
And you were, what, 38 hours in the water?
I was, well, I was about 20 minutes in the water at the most. And, you know, we had solid water coming over us for about 3 hours, though. And then by dawn, 2 of the guys who froze to death that were on the raft with me.
I see.
And because 4 of us made it to a raft.
Ah. Okay.
And then the 3rd one froze that afternoon. And then I went on another 24 hours before the Coast Guard picked me up.
Tell us about that. Was it during the night or daytime storm, or where was it, and how
The Morrell sank about 2 o'clock in the morning. And it took, maybe 8 minutes from the time the general alarm sounded until I wound up in the water. We watched the ship tear in half, which is really frightening, you know. And we took water, solid water. We were going through these waves. I mean, you can only imagine what it's like to be in the trough and look up 40, 45 feet at that wave that's falling on you. But even worse than that is after you go through that wind hits you, that 60-mile-an-hour wind, and it's just like having your skin peeled off. And of course, I didn't have any clothes on. I had a pair of shorts, a life jacket, and a pea coat. So I was more susceptible to that wind than most of the guys, I guess. But just miserable is the only way I can account for it.
The conditions, was there any warning? I mean, did you know this was coming, or what led up to this?
I was asleep and I heard a loud bang, and I thought it was the anchor hitting the bow. And I rolled over and tried to go back to sleep. And there was a second one, and this time the books came off my bookcase. So I decided, if it's going to get that bad, I better get up. So I went to turn on my bunk light, and it wouldn't come on. And I knew right away something was wrong. And then I pulled my curtains away from my bunk to get out of bed, and the general alarm sounded. So, and from that time on, about 8 minutes till I was in the water.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It hit that hard. Location, can you tell us about where it was?
About 18 miles off the tip of the thumb. And when she sank, the stern section was still under power, and she traveled another 5 miles before she sank. So.
Goodness. So we've heard so much about Lake Superior, but Lake Huron doesn't hold anything back either.
Lake Huron is pretty bad.
What time of the year was this then?
November 29th. It was late in the season to be running, really. Usually we were tied up by then. But
tell us a little bit about the history of the Morrell. What was it, the shipping for? And
she belonged to Bethlehem Steel, and we usually ran up to Marquette or Duluth or to Taconite Harbor, loaded iron ore and brought it back to Buffalo. She was built in 1906, and basically they found out that she was made of the same type of steel the Titanic was made out of, the high sulfur content, and when it got cold it got brittle. They did, dive on it and bring up some plates and checked it out, and that's what they found.
So it was pretty much construction and the weather conditions.
Metal fatigue and
fatigue.
Yeah.
And it was it traveled the Great Lakes for many years.
60 years.
60 years.
Yeah. I felt secure on it up until that moment.
So what did you do? I mean, on the raft, I mean, there was just this thought of survival, or
nothing you can do.
Was there distress signals before the actual hitting?
No.
They had no time for this?
We were told as we were sitting on the ship waiting for the bow section to sink that as once we got in the water to fire off some flares, that no distress was given, and there were other ships in the area, and to fire off some flares, which I did. But then I think I fired off 3 of them. Then we started going through these heavy seas, and it was probably dawn before I fired off anything else.
Is there anything that you attribute to your survival? I mean, is there anything key that you did that nobody else did, or was it just fate?
Well, the fact that I didn't have any clothes on, I think was a factor. I noticed from watching the other guys pass on that their clothing froze first and probably lowered their body temperatures, Plus the fact that when I got out of bed, I only had shorts on, and I reached overhead and I grabbed a life jacket, and that was Kapok. With a plastic liner on it, heavy plastic liner. I had that right next to my skin, and I ran out to the deck to see what was going on, and ran back in, and in the darkness all I could find was my pea coat, and I put that on over it. Well, I kind of think that pea coat and life jacket kind of insulated my lungs, and kept them from freezing. Plus, I tried moving around as much as I could, and I kept my fingers in my mouth so I could use my hands. And there's just things I did to try to, keep going. At one point I actually gagged myself, and that gave me such a surge of warmth, it's unbelievable. Yelling would warm me up, and that's about it. Plus, I did a lifetime of praying in 38 hours.
Right, definitely. How long, 38 hours, but how was the rescue? What happened? Were you conscious when they rescued you?
I was conscious through the whole thing. I saw the helicopter, I waved to it, And I guess the Coast Guardsmen thought that maybe it was the wind moving my arm around. They didn't expect me to be alive. But when they picked me up, I told them I thought I had some broken ribs, which wasn't true. I had an iron rod under my armpit and one just above my knee that was causing me excruciating pain. And they loaded me on the helicopter, and I saw a thermos on one of the bulkheads, and I asked them for something to drink, and they said they couldn't give me anything until, you know, I was in the hospital. Well, once in the hospital, I saw the sheriff, and I called him over and asked him to call my wife, and gave him my phone number, then called him back and gave him my area code. So I was very much conscious. I knew everything that was going on around me, you know.
A deep respect now for the Great Lakes, and you must have had some thoughts when you heard about the Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that was, you know, very chilling. I felt for the men, you know. And you know, when it happened to me, I thought I'd never sail again. But this year, for the first time, I went out again on a North Freight. I went out on the Roger Blau, and they let me bring 7 friends with me. So I asked Frank Mays to go with me. He was one of 2 survivors off the Bradley, and he went. And Dan Hall went with us, and a buddy of mine that sailed with me the year before she sank went with us. And then, you know, my film crew, Jim and Pat Stair, and Tim and Joan Jewell went with us.
It was years after the tragedy before Dennis was able to talk about it, but now through a collaborative effort he's released his account of the sinking of the Daniel J. Morrell in book form, titled Sole Survivor, Dennis Hale's Own Story. It's a story of desperation, tragedy, and triumph. As Dennis tells us, he hopes those that read it will receive both inspiration and a desire to never forget.
I hope they walk away a little stronger, you know, knowing that whatever you put your mind to, you can probably do. And when things are at the worst, there's always an extra strength to draw from, you know. And that's about it, you know. And to remember my friends on Morrell.
Experience the beauty, artistry, and taste of northern Michigan. Come to Amish Country Natural Products on Mount Tom Road, north of Mile, just off M33. From arts and crafts to fresh foods and vegetables, all natural, all local, all good. Stop by and get acquainted with Amish Country Natural Products, 1454 North Mount Tom Road, Mile. Hingeman Acres Canoe Livery and Resort on M33, just north of Mile, catering to the outdoor enthusiasts. Cabins, canoes, kayaks, rafts, and more. Daytime or overnight trips along the world-famous Asabo River. A family getaway for over 75 years. Thanks for joining us off the beaten path. Hope you're having a great autumn. Here's this week's phrase of the day. The Great Lakes Gales of November. November's a highly unpredictable and dangerous month on the Great Lakes. Take that phrase and send it to us for chances to win great prizes from Michigan Magazine. Looking forward to the holidays means no one should go hungry. Be sure and check out the food banks in Michigan to feed your family or to donate non-perishable food. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next edition of Michigan Magazine. We'd like to thank all those that help keep Michigan Magazine on the road. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Thunder Bay Resort, a destination for all seasons with special events and packages. Thunder Bay Resort in Hillman. Rose Valley Winery on Beechwood Road in Rose City. See what thousands are raving about, creating a delicious variety of award-winning Michigan wines. Stop by and taste for yourself. The taste of Michigan is yours at Rose Valley Winery. Clemix Sales and Service on Mapes Road, west of Mile, your complete recreational vehicle sales and service connection. Visit their beautiful showroom of new and pre-owned ATVs, lawnmowers, power equipment, snowmobiles, utility vehicles, and more. Clemix Sales and Service is also the home of the American-made Victory motorcycle line on display at Clemix on Mapes Road, Mile.